Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome.
Absolute format is the best way to own this store. Time to empty those wallets and fill those shelves. How's it going, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here, and
the Astonishing Melanie.
And we are Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today we are talking about the Klaus Deluxe Edition hardcover from Boom Studios. So
stay tuned to see why this definitely deserves the deluxe hardcover treatment.
And welcome back. So this is the latest edition of Klaus, but it has been released before in a hardcover format. And even the gilded pages, those right there, are still being used for this complete collection. This was a Kickstarter, but the Kickstarter cover looks different. This is the one that's available everywhere, and of course has the cover here, the artwork by Dan Mora.
I like this cover better than this one. I mean, they're both awesome. And in case you didn't notice, let me point out that this, not embossed, but it's a teeny tiny bit of a texture there.
Yeah. The snow feels the same too, or looks the same. You have Boom Studios, Klaus, and then Grant Morrison, Dan Mora.
Have a rune at the bottom, runes on the back.
Mm-hmm. And then the Boom Studios, and the retail price, $59.99. Now, you don't get any kind of information as to what it is in the back, like most books. Probably something you notice is that it does have a flat spine, and
there's a white ribbon.
There is, which we'll look at here in a second. But, yeah, it's a flat spine. And we'll look at the eye and the build in just a moment. So we're going to open this up, talk about the stories collected in here, and, of course, look at the build. But before we do, in case if you don't own the original hardcover, to kind of give you a size comparison.
Let's totally use this. I sound like I'm an 80s gal. Let's totally use this Romnibus to compare the size. Look at that.
And Klaus is a little bit taller.
Yeah, it's a little bit taller.
All right. Let's go ahead and open up what I think is probably the most non-Grant Morrison story I've read. All right, let's go ahead and open it up. We have some black end sheets, which I wish they would have done something here, like some kind of pattern, snow, or more runes.
Yeah, maybe not black. I don't know. There's something lacking.
And then there's your title right there with Boom Studios. All of it written by Grant Morrison, all of it illustrated by Dan Mora. Ed Dukeshire is the letterer, and then, of course, the cover's by Dan Mora. And when I mean illustrated, I mean he's doing his own colors and inks. Here's your introduction by Grant Morrison from the 2015 series. And it is separated by these title pages here. So this collects the original Klaus series, which was 1 through 7, Klaus and the Witch of Winter, the Klaus and the Crisis of Xmasville, Klaus and the Crying Snowman, and then Klaus and the Life and Times of Joe Christmas. And it also has the pink and pen and ink. Well, I almost called it pink edition.
Get your special pink edition. Look at how gorgeous this is, and the way it swoops down. It's not a straight line, but your eye follows the curve of it. Oh man!
Why don't you step in here?
Dan Mora is one of my favorite artists.
He is amazing. And Morrison's story is so fun. Give me the pitch, Melanie.
Okay, so this is a simpler story than other Grant Morrison stories. That this gentleman comes into town and he's just a stranger looking to do some business, but he sees kids being mistreated. And he was like, nope, that don't fly, Mom. So, is that what he says?
I don't know if those are the exact words.
He gets into a scuffle, but Lily, I love Lily. His wolf comes and helps. And we find out that the town is ruled by this evil dude whose son is very spoiled.
Magus, I think is his name, the evil guy.
His wife is detached and forlorn. Yeah, look at that shot. And we see how he gets these powers because he has such a passionate, good heart to help children. And how Santa Claus became Santa Claus. Basically the title of the story.
Yeah, so it it borrows a lot of different folklore
Psychedelic.
and different kind of traditions in here, which makes it really awesome how Morrison is just able to put it all together. And that's what the first 7 issues are. It's the almost, I guess I compare it to Batman Year One. It is the origin
Oh yeah.
story of
Uh-huh.
Santa Claus and how he came to be. But this Santa Claus is super sexy, muscular Santa Claus with Robin Hood ish type of origin
Yes.
story.
Oh, that's a good point. The paneling for the stories is terrific. It just I'm going to use the word flow again. It just flows so naturally. It's easy to follow, and there's like artistic choices, purposely using the panels a certain way and size and such.
And each of the stories, so that I think you get the idea of the first story. The second story follows the adventures of Santa Claus. Let's actually get there. So this is the second story. This is The Witch of Winter, and what would happen is every year after the original 7 issues, Grant Morrison would return and write a one shot, and along with Morrison was Dan Mora, so they would reunite every Christmas season. This one is about this widow right here who is raising his 2 kids. They get kidnapped by something, a dark something from the other world. Let's just leave it
Well,
at
I
that.
mean, it says the title
Okay,
says
fine.
witch. The title says witch.
Okay. A witch. So yeah, Santa Claus is like, all right, I'm in. By now, you see him riding out in the sleigh. You get the he's starting to look more and more like not Jolly Saint Nick or Santa Claus, but he's getting a little bit of the white in the beard. And then we have Crisis in Xmasville. This one's really interesting because it's like a horror story. Uh,
Look at the design on this sled.
it's,
And sorry, just
go
just to
ahead.
interrupt. I like seeing how Dan Mora's art has evolved and grown throughout the years.
Oh yeah, and he's a quick artist
I
too.
like before and after Mora.
So every story starts off with Once Upon a Time, including this one. But this one's really creepy because it's this family that's they're visiting their grandmother. Her name is Kate, and it's a really cute story from her side. But the family is dealing with like this entire town being taken over by
It's
Santa
called
Claus.
Xmasville, but on purpose, just with an X,
Yes,
to show the evils of the corporation that's taken over.
people are turning into Santa Claus. They're kidnapping the kids, and this is awesome. So Kate was given this little flare gun by Santa Claus when she was a kid, like 9 years old, and she uses it to summon him, and he's like, "I'm on the case," and that's pretty much it. He goes and tries to save the family. I really like this one. I love the ending of this one. I thought it was so heartwarming. The snowman is sweet
That's
too.
I read those two on my birthday while the girls washed the dishes.
Huh?
It was so
That's how you
nice.
do it. This is the Crying Snowman, which is a beautiful story about a snowman named Sam. He has his own little secrets, and Santa Claus wants to have a team up with him because he needs
I
his
love
help.
his face. I want to be friends with him.
Come on, he's not. He is Santa Claus, so he has to look friendly. So both him and Sam, this crying snowman, and there's a reason why he's crying. Do end up teaming up and doing the right thing, and I will just leave it at that.
And
This
of course, always having help from Lily.
Yes, Lily, his sidekick. This is my favorite one. There are no words in this one. This is the life and times of Joe Christmas, and it is
Do you want to say Scrooge McDuck when you say that?
every single time. What this is a calendar, and it's done in this format. And it's December 1st.
Did
And
they sell this as an actual calendar format? Like, I don't know. Did
well,
they
I mean,
hang up?
it was a single issue one shot.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's 2001, 71 years old, December 2nd. He's now 69 years old, 1999. So it's pretty much the friendship, this lifelong friendship that he's had with this gentleman named Joe Christmas. And it's doing it backwards instead of like moving forward. So, Santa Claus never ages, but Joe Christmas did. And oh, it's so sweet, the team ups and adventures they had. And then when you see when he's a kid, and there's a couple of moments that you don't even need words and you start just tearing up. Oh, it's beautiful. And then, of course, the pen and ink, which is pretty much just the commentary by Dan Mora and Grant Morrison about some of the pages for this particular book. It's a beautiful edition, and it's all in black and white, so there's no colors here. But then there's the commentary down there.
So, Omar, was this in any of the hardcovers that were recently or previously published?
I think it was in the second printing of that hardcover we just had earlier. And then we have the covers, which are not collected at the beginning or in between chapters. They're left for the very end. So you have the cover gallery here of the 7-issue miniseries, and you have the one-shots. I love that cover. Love that cover. I forgot we did an old reader, new reader on Klaus. I keep calling him Klaus. Santa Claus?
Well, I thought maybe you knew something I didn't know.
Yeah, I know how to butcher people's names. Klaus. And then you have the variant covers here, all in splash pages by different artists. And then you have additional artwork here by Dan Mora, like character designs, which are gorgeous. This was an awesome scene. Make sure there's no spoilers happening. And the cover process, the thumbnail sketches. And then in the studio with Dan Mora, a little behind the scenes of his studio.
Oh, nice.
This was beautifully painted. I love the way this looks so different. It almost kind of looks like a Norman Rockwell painting.
Yeah, and that makes sense for the setting.
And then little bio on Grant Morrison and Dan Mora. And
Aww.
there's Joe Christmas with Santa Claus. And that's another one from the Joe Christmas. I was like, I would read that comic. And then your end sheets. All right, now let's talk about the binding here. It is sewn binding, and this is what the eye looks like. Again, here's your ribbon, and it's got these gilded pages, like these silver foil gilded pages.
That eye's big enough to fit an icicle through for Christmas.
Sure.
An icicle.
Really, really thick, glossy paper. Like, it's some of the thickest, and it lays over really nice because of that binding. But it does, let's see, I was trying to find some of the spread pages without going into spoilers. So here's the example of how it lays over towards the beginning here. So you do get a little minor gutter loss. But yeah, that's it. We wanted to talk about this one because, I mean, what better day to talk about this particular book than today? So that, as they say, is
that. If you're interested in purchasing this book, please check out our sponsors. If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more.
And that was the build, page count, and contents of this book. Let us know in the comments below what you think. What are your fond memories of reading this book that's been around for a few years?
And if you have any traditions, what you read during the holidays, what's your favorite Christmas story in a comic book, let us know in the comments below. Stay healthy and safe out there. Merry Christmas.
And stay minty.
Yeah, and happy holidays. And if you don't celebrate, stay safe.